Regular play can be fun, but some of the most exciting moments in Jeopardy history have come in the tournaments. Let's look at the implications of this unique format on calculating the final wager. As someone who's only played Jeopardy in tournaments, talking about regular game strategy can be a little weird. Now I'm in my element. Let's break down how the tournament actually works. A typical tournament has 15 players. In the first week, all 15 play one quarterfinal game, with 9 of the 15 advancing to the semifinals. Those 9 will then be whittled down to 3, who will play for all the marbles. Let's use the 2013 College Championship as an example. As we run through the 5 quarterfinal games, each of the winners is granted a semifinal berth. The remaining 4 spots are filled by the highest scorers among non-winners, the wild cards. All of the other players are eliminated. One unique aspect of tournament play is there has to be a winner in each game. If 2 or more players are tied for the lead after final, Alex will give tiebreaker clues until one player buzzes in and responds correctly. You don't win if your opponent gives an incorrect response. This throws a wrench into the strategies I'd previously laid out. For example, you'll now need to take an extra $1 into account, and the wagering to tie scenarios I discussed in parts 2 and 4 can fall by the wayside. Of the 6 tiebreaker situations that have taken place, 5 of them could have been prevented with proper wagering. The only one was where 2 players were tied for the lead going into final, and both correctly went for broke. Our field for the semifinals is set. There's no formula to determine who plays whom. The only rule appears to be that you won't play someone you played in the quarterfinals. The semifinals are 3 traditional smackdowns. Winner moves on, no wildcards, no second chances. Well, except if you're in last year's teen tournament. In one semifinal game, all 3 players finished with 0, so there was no winner. The highest scorer among non-winners in the other 2 semifinals advanced. The finals are what's known as a 2-day total point affair. This means our finalists will play 2 separate games, and the scores from those 2 games will be added together. Whoever has the most total points will take the championship. We'll get into that strategy in a separate installment. Now let's talk about wildcards. This setup seems a little unfair, doesn't it? The players in the later matches will know what they need to qualify. But then, how did the 4 wildcards in this tournament come from the first 2 games? Ah, there's the rub. If you haven't played yet in the quarterfinals, you're sequestered in the green room, and you won't know what's happening on the stage. It's like waiting for Godot in there, except with food that no one can eat because they're too nervous and you know Godot will actually come. After you play, you sit in the audience, relishing your win, licking your wounds, or, worst of all, sitting on tenterhooks until you know for sure whether you're moving on. How do you predict where the wildcard cutoff will be? It's hard to say. For the Tournament of Champions, the magic number has been over 20,000, and it was 0 in 2003. In that TOC, only 7 of the 15 quarterfinal players finished with money. The last 2 slots went to the 2 players who had the highest scores entering final. Sometimes it pays to keep that extra $1. It's impossible to predict where the cutoff in a given tournament will be, but we can make an educated guess based on past cutoffs. If your score is 8,400, for example, the probability you'll get a wild card is just 20%. If you've got 16,400, the odds are 80%. It's up to you to decide beforehand where you want to fall on that continuum. Wildcards should have an effect on your strategy. If you're locked in a barn burner and you have 22,000 going into final, maybe you're content just to stay put, instead of making the traditional lockout bet. In fact, it's unlikely that I'll have anything bad to say about any of the wagers in the quarterfinals. The only exception is if a leader wagers to win by more than $1. You don't get to keep your money, so there's no point in going for more than you need. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And join me every night to see how the players do with the final wager.